Dear Lord, please give drill sergeants the power and will not to hook up or try and have encounters with their trainees. Amen. Why is this an issue across every single branch right now? First, we had the drill instructor on drill instructor drama. Army Times covering a big story about a drill sergeant that has been caught up with this story of him being married to his trainee. I swear, you might want to consider boot camp the new Match.com, Tinder, Grindr, whatever popular app that's out there now, because essentially everybody's just using this as a meetup point. You guys realize you don't have to sign your life away to actually meet the person of your dreams. I know they're going to BH Healthcare and a couple things that are going for them in their lives, but let's dive into the story. It is titled, Drill Sergeant Married Trainee Was Reprimanded and Is Now Out of the Army. Just imagine there was a deviant from standard procedure and a reaction that was appropriate. We'll move forward. Now it looks like this drill sergeant did marry a trainee or recruit, as many people may know from other branches. I got to speak in both lingos here. But it does look like there was an investigation. And on top of that, there were 2 other encounters with other trainees that were noted in this investigation. I have to say, we might as well change the name from recruits to rodents, because that's how these people want to engage and interact. It's like they just want to keep multiplying. I am speaking in jest, obviously, but this was truthfully found out through the investigation that I do take seriously, that was about a female that was complaining of SA. If you guys don't know what SA means, Google it. YouTube censorship is going to bring this video down if that's the case. There were laws that were put into place due to this issue. Now, it does look like this is not the only member that has dealt with this in this past year or so, but it looks like under these new laws, they have caught up to 18 different Army drill sergeants under this. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt here, but I just want to let you guys know that only about 18% of you guys watching are even subscribed. And on top of that, if you like this video, it will show YouTube and other people that this is content that's worth sharing and watching. We appreciate the support as we are on the road to 100,000. We just hit 90,000 today, and I want to give a huge thank you. I don't know about the other branches. I'm not sure how much of this is an issue, but I will say even in my Navy experience and Marine Corps experience and their Marine Corps training that I've been through as well, it is known you are not able to have this type of contact with students versus instructor. Stuff happens, obviously, that I've seen and heard in the background, but I will be honest with you guys, it is not allowed, and this is very serious. Fort Jackson spokesperson Leslie Soley confirmed a drill sergeant at the post was handed down a general officer memorandum of reprimand in October 2020, but declined to disclose identity of the soldier. Soley also declined to share the nature and character of the soldier's discharge. I do find that interesting. I hope the author of this Army Times article does try and look that up for Freedom of Information Act. I'm not sure if that could be released to find this out, to maybe do a follow-up story on this. If you're the author of this, please do it for the rest of us. I would like to know the background of the story. And this was not released or understood as a huge issue actually on the official channels, even though we're getting official statements by the Army. This was actually released through a military meme page known as Army WTF Moments, which shares typical military memes and makes fun of Army culture in general, as this is like the rampant thing, which obviously if you have not seen the Angry Cops video, they're actually almost being shut down by many different parties. Some of the official parties are trying to bring these pages down, which is becoming whack-a-mole, and essentially they're still living on. Now, the reason why this guy got in trouble is because obviously he did have a relationship with a trainee. Now, I will add on to this that this is for 180 days, that this is a barrier between the instructor and the student. On top of that, it was known that this drill sergeant was away from his command at the time and went over to Fort Lee. Now, to be honest, relax in Jackson. This is where it went down, holding up its name, obviously, because for some reason, you would never see this at Fort Benning or any of the other boot camps that we'll go over. Actually, maybe 1 or 2 of the others, but we won't talk about that. But it looks like from the biometric, when he got to Fort Lee, that is where they caught up on the investigation to show actually he was unauthorized absence and missed 2 different evolutions over at Fort Jackson, but he was actually at Fort Lee. And on top of that, the command over at Fort Jackson, per this article, actually reported him being present for duty. And I'm like, whoa. That's falsifying a government document saying that this man was on government property on post when he really wasn't on post. This is how he ended up with the Vanessa Guillen situation. By the way, not trying to tie everything to it, but this is part of the SA thing that we're talking about and obviously ties into accountability as well. What is interesting about this 180-day rule is not only the fact that it's a pretty decent amount of time, but it is the idea that when this actually starts. And I did not know that per this article. I know you guys are like, my drill sergeant, I want to be friends with you forever. You changed my life. Please like my photos later on. OnlyFans. Just kidding. But moving from that, it's not only the idea of finishing boot camp and 6 months from there, you cannot be touched or contacted by your drill sergeant, drill instructor. This is actually the Army's version, which says that the training block from boot camp, also on top of the training block from AIT, your advanced training phase, or A school for people that are Marine Corps or Navy, those count as one singular block. So essentially, you have to wait until 6 months after they get to their first command. Now, looking at this, you have to understand too that some of these AIT trainings could be several months. So you're talking about like by the time you go through boot camp, it could be a year and a half later very easily for some of these jobs that have a much more extensive technical training. And it does bring up in this article that drill sergeants are a special position of trust, which I will agree. Like a lot of drill sergeants do have some very strict left and right lateral limits of being reported to. You know, they are the figure that is upheld as the status symbol of what it means to be a sailor, a Marine, an airman, a soldier, whatever it is, that they should embody that. I mean, down to the uniform. It is known that when you go through these trainings and you're at these commands, you are seen as the epitome of what that service has to offer. And some of this actually does extend to even your recruiter, for example. Like recruiters can't just try to use their position as a recruiter to try and meet people for a dating situation. I've actually talked to recruiters about this where they say if you are an applicant, they cannot have you as a relationship or anything like that until you have been descreened as you're ineligible for service or something that you're no longer in their care and you're already in the fleet doing your thing. So that is quite interesting how much of a scope this protects people that are joining the military from the point of going to a recruiter all the way to their first command. And this article cites Article 93 Alpha of the UCMJ that says that this also criminalizes prohibited relationships between recruiters and training instructors, such as drill sergeants and specially protected junior members of the armed forces, such as applicants, delayed entry program members, or service members still undergoing initial training. So there you have it, ladies and gents. You got the boot camp drama of people hooking up at boot camp. And you know what's interesting is like, this guy could have easily met how many women that are out there that want to be dependents, that are dying to be at the beck and call of their soldier for some TRICARE and BH. You can find a TRICARE bunny pretty quick, man. But I will say at the same time that these drill sergeants probably are spending hours upon hours with these trainees. They're not having much free time. So they are probably not thinking with their right mind, to be quite literal. They are moving towards steps to make sure that the command actually does not have any jurisdiction over the disposition of somebody that is in the service that has committed one of these acts. So I will say that we may see these punishments like this continue to be frowned upon essentially, and people are probably going to see the boot much more often as we see a third party come into play. But I'd like to know, what do you guys think about this story? What have you heard about boot camp issues like this, or what have you seen in your own anecdotal evidence? You know, leave those comments down below, as I'd like to know your boot camp love. As I say here, boot camp love is real love. But as always, if you guys do support this channel, we do have a Patreon link down below where you can get some special perks and benefits. Also, on top of that, we also have a YouTube membership button below this video and also on the main page as well that you can click, and you can become a Boy Support Boys member and help out the channel. We appreciate it. But as always, if you have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.
I pick it up right where I left off. The banging the drums and they point to me.